We understand that the vast majority of the community members have all been impacted in some way or another with the recent events. Many of us are left with a lot of emotion and a lot of unanswered questions and a real lack of understanding of why. We want everyone in the community to be aware of the resources that are available to help cope with the sense of loss that many of you and your loved ones are feeling. Suicide impacts the entire community. Therefore, we believe it's the responsibility of the entire community to help save lives. Now is the time to work as a community to unite and make an impact on all people who have mental health needs. You have taken the first step tonight in creating a strong community for suicide awareness. And I would encourage you to actively participate in tonight's discussions and to make a personal decision to continue helping us with the suicide awareness efforts in the coming months. Again, thank you for coming. We have a lot of specialists with us tonight. I think when you will, Jen, would you come up and start the introductions, please? I think you'll realize what a great group of resource people we have here. But this is, as many of you know, is our Director of Special Education and Special Services, Student Services, Jen Olson. So thanks, Jen.
Thanks for being here. If I could have everyone who has been part of our crisis team in the last couple of months, whether it's providing support in January or at the beginning of this month, if you could stand up for me, please. Those of you who are here tonight to provide support, please stand up. And what I'll have you do is if you could just go around. I think we're small enough that you could just stand where you are and just introduce yourself to the community members so they're aware of who's here and which agencies are represented.
Kimberly McDonald, I'm a social worker with St. Clair County.
I'm Ross Phillips, I'm a therapist with Northwest Counseling Services out of Baltimore, Maryland.
I'm Peter Nassif, I'm a psychologist with Hudson Counseling Services in Hudson, Wisconsin.
I'm Michael Huntley, family counselor with the Youth Service Bureau.
I'm Beth Green, a therapist with St. Clair County.
Mike Griffith, therapist, St. Clair County.
Mary Jacks, a marriage and family therapist with Hudson Counseling Services.
I'm Miriam Stevens, a therapist at St. Clair County.
I'm Dr. Chris Babbitt with Northwest Counseling at Baltimore Medical Center.
Kat Rossman, middle school counselor.
Bill Stiesel, high school counselor.
Alyssa Matzik, elementary school counselor.
Amber Marco, I work for the Youth Service Bureau. I'm the chemical health specialist for the school district.
Mike Briggs, I'm pastor here at Trinity.
And Glenn Webb, high school principal.
And I'm Melinda Fowler, I'm the pastor at Roberts United Church of Christ.
Thank you. I just want to point out that in the past couple of months, when we've had a crisis within our community, the people who stood have moved their schedules around and done what they can to provide support for the staff, for the students, and for the community members. And I cannot stress how much we appreciate your willingness to do that. It really has made a difference, and I think it's really helped the community cope. And so thank you very much for doing that over the last few months and for being here tonight. With that being said, I think Glenn is up. Glenn Webb, our high school principal.
Good evening again, everyone, and again, sincerely thank you for being here tonight, and to all those that are here helping out again, thank you for all your help throughout the school year. It's really been a great help to be able to have people come in and just show their support and give their professional expertise in these situations, because it's been a difficult run we've been on, but we've all got through it together to get to this point tonight. So again, thank you to all of you for being here. The purpose of being here tonight, again, we wanted to gather together to discuss some of the general information about suicide awareness, look into the future of what we can do to try to help prevent this from happening, hopefully in our school or in our community in the future, and also just go over some things that, you know, as a whole community, we can work on together. Time for questions and comments as we go through the night will happen kind of towards the end when we break into our small groups. But there's lots of different things that will come up that you'll think about. Just make sure you share your input at some point so that we can hear everybody's voice and, again, make this a true collaboration together tonight. Again, I'm so thankful for all the help and all the people that came forward to help us through this, both the school staff, the community at large, and all the therapists and, again, trained professionals, because that really made a huge difference for us. A little bit about, you heard kind of who was on the crisis team here from the school and, again, those professionals that came in. But for those of you that may or may not know kind of the steps we went through in, both times these events happened, as soon as we were made aware of it, we shared whatever information we could with the staff. As it was appropriate and able to be shared, we shared that with the students also, and then as quickly as we could, put that together and got that information out to parents and community and the media, again, as it was appropriate and allowed by the parents in each situation. From there, again, we just tried to bring the team together, make sure, number one, that kids were supported, and do our absolute best to follow through with any kids we were really worried about, and try to get a handle on kind of the general feeling of where we were at. So that's kind of the process we went through initially, and then have had the continued follow-up with certain students, with staff, and other parents and community members as we have gone along here, getting us to this point tonight where we brought all of you together to try to take the next step forward. If any of you are aware of people that are still in need, there is the ongoing support, both at school and through all the professional services available. We have all that information at school, and also a lot of those people are with us here tonight. So definitely speak up if you know of anyone or yourself that needs some extra support so that we can make sure that happens. As we go through all this, we have to make sure we take care of ourselves. We take care of our kids, our students, and our whole community. We're at that point where, we'll talk in a little bit about the different steps in grieving. Everybody's going to be at a different point. Some people will react differently. We have to take that into consideration. Some people might be perfectly happy. Some people might be really mad. Some people might lash out. And Ms. Brosmer will talk about that a little bit more in detail. But just remember, it's a tough time for everybody with not only the suicide stuff, but the elementary issue and everything else, along with all the different things going on already. And we just need to continue to work together with that. So we're at a time where we're attempting to move forward, being careful not to forget about the ones we lost, but also balancing that delicate line between honoring the students we lost, but not glamorizing or romanticizing anything that they may have done. And that's really been a tough balance for us as we've gone through this as a school district, especially dealing with graduation and all the things. But again, know that decisions we made were made based on professional opinion, research, and number one, what we thought was best to move forward, working with students and being the most human we could be going through the process. With that, I want to invite Kat Brosmer up here, middle school counselor, to talk to us a little bit more about what we can do as a community, and also talk a little bit about some training things in the future. Kat?
Hi everybody. I'm going to try and project so I can stay close to the ground here, be grounded myself. Chris Miner the cycle of trauma. I think I'd like to switch our agenda around a little bit because she was going to follow me. But I think it makes sense to talk a little bit about trauma right now before we get into what parents can do. And trauma is very individualized. We think of it, especially if you get hurt, there's you have a knee that's blown out, you have experienced a trauma to your knee. We think about it as an event. And trauma is not an event. Trauma is a response to an event. So it's very individualized. Someone at a workshop I went to recently described when, I can't remember his Captain Sullivan that landed the airplane in the Hudson River. Now some people who experienced that were, their response to that event was to be terribly frightened, terribly anxious, and they relived the landing of that plane over and over again in their mind. There might be some that did it, it was frightening at the time, and they moved on with the rest of their lives. And then there were others who will never fly again, who get extremely anxious or need to be medicated if they fly. So, there are some that said, woo-hoo, let's do this again. Maybe it was fun. Maybe that was a little bit of a thrill and they weren't bothered by it at all. So, I think we need to look at trauma, and especially with students, including teachers and staff in there, that our responses are very individualized. And that we respond to those kinds of situations in a number of ways. We fight, we get anxious, irritable, aggressive maybe, verbally and physically. We can run away, take off and just say, I'm not going to deal with this right now. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm fine, go away. Or we can withdraw and just shut down. We freeze. So it's fight, flight, or freeze. Those are typically the responses that people go to. The students may have been trying to get through this experience over the last couple of weeks, and we might begin to see some signs of trauma. In the beginning, after a traumatic event, some students will respond immediately and react. Teachers will react. Parents may react immediately. Other kids, it takes a little bit of time. People will take a little bit of time. So several weeks into the summer, I'm hoping that we all keep our eyes open. We look at kids, we talk to kids, we see what's going on the sports field, the 4-H events that they're going to, Boy Scout or Girl Scout camp, because we might at that point in time see some trauma response from them. Their routine has changed. They're no longer in school where they know that first period and then they go to second period and then they go to study hall, they go to lunch. Teachers don't have the normalcy of the day. And when you shake up that routine a little bit, you might see kids start to respond in a way that you're saying, well, this was a couple of weeks ago. Why are they doing this right now? You might see anger and irritability from the kids. You might see them sleeping more, so changes in sleeping and eating habits. You might see just know that they don't want to talk to anybody, they don't want to be a part of it. So those are some things that to keep your eye on. Now, it's really hard with teenagers. I work with the emerging young beings at the middle school, but they don't always tell us what they're thinking and feeling. They're trying to get a handle on their own lives, and they want to be independent, and they want to be who they're called to be, and sometimes they don't let us in on that little secret of theirs. So we need to be watchful for behavioral changes, maybe changes in friendships, and maybe changes in just their usual activities that they don't involve themselves in anymore. Suicide impacts more than just the family, more than just the school community, has a ripple effect out into the wider community. And I think that whatever hurts, just the small community of a group of friends in school impacts at exponential ranges. And we need to be sure that our responses as parents are ones that come from our heart, that don't come from get over this, that we need to respond with compassion, that we need to take care of ourselves, as Glenn was saying. That's the first thing they tell you on an airplane, right? First take care of your oxygen mask, and then you take care of your children. So what are some of the things that you can do to take care of yourself, which in turn then takes care of your family? Number one, make sure that everybody's eating, and eating well and properly. If your your resilience is down and you start to get sick, we know when we're not feeling well, what happens then? Everything goes downhill from there. We don't feel good. Things that usually wouldn't bother us do. So eating, sleeping, and exercise, our basic needs, need to be taken care of. If we're taking care of ourselves like that, it will take care of our families like that. Some of the other things is adequate hydration in the summertime. People get headaches. We see somatic symptoms in trauma-related responses, that headaches and stomach aches and a whole series of somatic symptoms. So we can do that. We know what to look for when our kids are sick. That's one of the things we do really well. We may not be able to figure out some of the psychology parts of it, but we know how to take care of our kids when they're sick. Some things about open communication with your kids. Suicide can happen to any family, any socioeconomic background, any race, any community, as we have seen. It's an equal opportunity mental health issue. So we need to be aware of our kids and our children's friends, and what might be going on with them as well. We need to look at things like facts, feelings. What are their feelings? Are they feeling some deep sadness? Are they feeling hurt? Are they feeling angry? Actions. Are they lashing out when they typically don't behave in that manner? Are they withdrawing from their school or other activities that they usually are participating in? Sports. We've seen some kids fall out of sports practices, just give up in the middle of things, not really give it their best when they know they love it. Other changes in eating habits, changes in sleeping habits, changes in hygiene, not feeling like showering, not getting up in the morning, not wanting to engage in discussion with family members, being secretive. Other threats that could be very, very upfront and direct, saying, I feel like I want to die, I want to kill myself, or they may be more veiled. You won't have to worry about this much longer. Those are some specific things you can look at in situational changes. We have had students in the past comment that they knew where the key was to their grandpa's gun lock. And so those kinds of situations where kids have access and the legality is there, we need to be on the lookout for those kinds of things. When you're talking to your kids, we talk to our kids about wearing seatbelts. We talk to our kids about risky sexual behavior. We talk to our kids about alcohol and drugs and smoking. We should talk to them about suicide as well. We should talk to them about their mental health. That is all about keeping kids safe. Now, it's all about timing, too, with teenagers, right? It has to be the right time and the right place. So your time might not be their time. And so to look for opportunities to speak with your student, or sometimes it works to do it vicariously. Just talk to your kids' friends while they're standing there. So you don't need to talk to them personally, but you can talk to their friends and discuss things, ask those kinds of questions. Some of the other things to be able to do to take good care of your student is in these kinds of situations, we all come from different backgrounds. We need to approach it with compassion and a non-judgmental approach. Some families come from religious backgrounds where suicide is a very powerful, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not. Yeah, it is. It's very taboo. And so we can pass judgment. But there's lots of rumors. Some of you have heard the rumors recently, what's been going around about that. We need to quell those. We don't know. Suicide is very complex. There's a variety of reasons that people may choose that, choose to end their lives. So we need to know that we don't know all the answers, and we'll never know all the answers. And it'd be wonderful if we could say why and answer that question for people. And I don't think that's the right question. I don't think why is the question. I think is how. How do we get through this? How do we take care of each other? How do we continue to be on the lookout and support our kids, provide them with a safety net, so that that doesn't become an option for them, that the unthinkable becomes thinkable. I think that as parents, we can model good coping behaviors. So if you're frustrated at work, some of us may think it's a really good idea to pop the top on that beer. That might be one way for us to cope. But what better example would it be to say, let's go out for a walk. I really need to do that. Does anybody want to go out for a run? Would anybody like to go out and canoe for a little while and be, on the water and be quiet and peaceful for a while? Anybody want to go to church with me? There's lots of good coping mechanisms that we can model for our kids to say, this is a problem that we can work on, we can solve it. Everything is entirely solvable except for making a choice that you may think about making. In the back, I wanted to share this brochure. It's called Restorative Response Circles. Chris Miner works out of the Restorative Justice Office in River Falls. The Restorative Justice Center does more than just look at reconciliation in communities and restoring people to community after a crime or after some other hurtful event. But it also deals with people who are in grief and works with them to help restore their health and well-being and to help families work through the process. So there are some things that are coming up. This little yellow sheet in the brochure talks about some events that are coming up for restorative justice. So if you wanted to grab one of those, they're on the table in the back. And I'd like to introduce a very wonderful woman. I've been working with her now for several weeks. We are part of Bill Stiesel, and I have been working with a task force that is working for suicide prevention in St. Croix County. And we got, for some reason, it started up just when we needed it. It was a very timely coalition to form. So I'd like Kimberly to come on up and tell us a little bit about the coalition and QPR. Thank you.
I'm going to stand at the podium. I don't know if my voice is going to carry this. Thanks, Kat. So as Kat mentioned, Bill, Kat, myself, and another bunch of individuals are part of the Suicide Prevention Task Force for St. Croix County. The task force was developed by the community, for the community. It's a grassroots nonprofit coalition comprised of area mental health providers, healthcare providers, school representatives, and veterans organizations. And the biggest piece and component to our organization is community members. The task force is committed to helping community members by providing resources and assistance and giving community members a voice to share their experiences and how they've been affected by suicide. The current initiative that the task force has right now is to train community members in QPR. And QPR stands for Question, Persuade, and Refer. It's a nationally based community education that aims at teaching people to recognize the warning symptoms, how to ask the right questions, and how to refer those people for support or assistance. The goal of our task force is to train communities within St. Croix County by doing gatekeeper trainings. We've done a couple down in River Falls. We've done one in the New Richmond community. So we're looking at really expanding not only the task force itself, but by being able to train other community members in QPR itself. If you are interested in learning more about the task force, being a member of the task force, or any more information on QPR, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions after the small groups and after Jen is done with the closing remarks. So what we're really looking for and what we wanted to provide with you guys tonight was just that we're a resource available. So if anybody is interested, please let us know and we can help support in any way that we can. So.
is to go into some small group discussions. And looking at our number here, it looks like we would have about 4 to 5 people per group. We have 5 sets of therapists who will work with you. And I didn't think about logistics. And so what we will do is we'll have each of the set of therapists waiting in the back corridor there. And if you want to just get into, sometimes you come with someone you're close with and comfortable with, and we want you for sure to still be able to be with that person, and perhaps there's a therapist here that you already have a rapport with, or that you know, or maybe you've seen them around in the community that you want to connect with. So you can kind of choose which therapist you would like to meet with. There's coffee and water and lemonade. So if you want to grab something to drink, and then they will be waiting for you, and we'll just kind of pair up and go into groups. There will be 2 groups that are meeting here in the seats out here. One group that will be meeting right outside to the left of this gathering area, and then 2 more groups that will be meeting down the hallway. So like I said, about 4 to 5 per group. You can go where you feel comfortable, and we'll kind of help you with finding a place to go after you grab something to drink. Are there any questions? Okay, that being said, go ahead and grab a beverage and right into some small group session. But I hope that it at least gave you time to get some answers to some questions you may have had, and to learn about the support system that's available to you within the community. As we wrap up tonight, I just wanted to take some time to share with you where we go from here, which is, I'm sure, one question that you do have. You've heard already that we have members from the school district and within the community who are actively involved in the St. Croix County Task Force for Suicide Awareness. But there are also other initiatives that we've already started and we plan to have within the community in the next year. And I just wanted to inform you of those. Currently, all 7th grade and 9th grade students in the St. Croix Central School District are QPR trained. That's part of their health and counseling curriculums. So they are trained, and our goal is for next year to have every student who's in grade 7 through 12 QPR trained. And we think that that's one very important way that they can learn how to watch out for each other and for themselves. So we're excited to be able to do that. At the back to school seminars that teachers have in the end of August, we'll also be training all of our staff in QPR. And we plan to have a community-wide QPR training in September. So watch for that. We'll have information coming out. It will be on our website. And anything that you can do as community members here to support that initiative, we appreciate. We also are planning to start a community coalition on suicide awareness. We think that that would be a great way to get many people together who care about our community and want to make sure that we're a safe and healthy community. We're hoping that we have clergy members, school district members, business owners, police officers, anyone who is available and willing to be a part of that coalition, be actively involved. So I'm putting a pitch out to you if that's something that you are interested in being a part of, that opportunity is here for you, and we would embrace you in that coalition. Also, if you're a local business owner and you're interested in having QPR training at your business, that is something that is available to you as well. When you leave tonight at the round table where you picked up the resources, there's a sign-up sheet. And on that sign-up sheet, you can just put your name and your email and check if you're interested in having a QPR training at your business, or if you're interested in being in the community coalition, and we'll be in touch with you to be a member of those and get you the information that you need. You also have a blue questionnaire that we're asking you to complete, and that can be anonymous unless if there's something specific that you need. Based on what you put on that handout, if there is something that you feel like you don't have answered or more resources that you need, We will be putting additional resources on our webpage. If you've ever been to the St. Croix School District webpage, you'll see that there are counseling sites with lots of resources on those, and we'll make sure that there already are a lot of resources about suicide awareness and prevention, but we'll make sure that the information that you're feeling we're not providing is out there for you to access. From there, I would just like to, again, thank all of the representatives from the community agencies for being here tonight. I know that, again, you took time out of your own schedule to come and provide support, and I think it's so important that our community knows who's available to provide support. And so I really appreciate you being here. Sometimes it's one thing to be told, oh, here's a list of resources that you can access, but when you actually meet someone from that place and you have a face that you can connect with, it just makes people feel more comfortable to reach out to those resources. So thank you again to all of you for being here. I appreciate your willingness to embrace our initiatives. And I'd also like to thank each of the community members for attending. I know that the topics discussed tonight, they're not easy. You know, talking about suicide isn't an easy topic to discuss, but unfortunately it's something that does need to be discussed. And I appreciate your willingness to come and to be open to tonight's discussions and to ask questions and be a part of making, you know, the St. Croix community a healthy and aware community. So thank you very much for being here. Have a great night.